Welcome to another Fresh Off the Stalls! Let's face it, the only thing that's scary is my hair. I really need a haircut. Anyway, sorry I've not been doing much of Fresh Off the Stalls recently. This is because it's a very, very busy time at work for me. Seriously, don't ask. It's absolutely nuts. So I haven't really had the energy or looking as pretty to be doing these videos. But I've come out especially today to do one because I've been to see the Charles Court Opera's Ruddigore. And the reason I'm pushing myself to do one of these tonight is because this is their 10th anniversary production. Meaning it's a production for the 10th anniversary. We've not been wielding this one out for 10 years as far as I'm aware. Anyway, you guys know that and I'm no stranger to Charles Court Opera. I'm a big fan of theirs, especially their pantos. So it's really great to see them do Gilbert and Sullivan, because it's some of the stuff that they do so well. And Ruddigore is no exception to this. So what they've done for this particular production is kind of redressed Ruddigore as if it were a Hammer horror film. And I can tell you now, it works marvellously. I'm seeing a lot of things reset, mostly Shakespeare reset in modern times, which some of it's good. Actually, a lot of it's been good recently. I haven't actually seen... anyway, I'm not here to talk about modern Shakespeare. I'm here to talk about Ruddigore. I consider myself a GNS fan. I would not call myself a GNS expert. And I have to admit that Ruddigore is not one of the GNS operettas that I'm most familiar with. I did consider refamiliarising myself with the score before going to this production, but I thought, no, actually, let's just go into it as fresh as I can, see if I remember anything, and if I don't, it could be fun. So let's talk about the operetta itself first. Typical GNS, very satirical, very witty. You've got the usual patter songs, you've got some sort of nice tender moments in there as well. However, I don't think, and one of the reasons I don't think we see Ruddigore put on as much is because I don't think it's one of their best works. And that's my opinion. It's certainly not a bad work, you know, but it's, you know, we don't see Ruddigore as often as we do, say, Pirates of Penzance, HMS Pinafore, and the Mikado, which are all brilliant GNS operas. But so this, and the reason why I think this one's a bit unwieldy, it lacks some of the pizzazz that's in the more popular operettas. It doesn't seem to have that spunk. I mean, if you get to know GNS, you know the usual sort of tropes they put in every so often. There's the patter song, there's the duet, there's the end of Act 1 choruses are always brilliant. I can't think of a bad one off the top of my head. But yeah, it's just not as sharp and as and as sort of on point as a lot of the other GNSs. And I think one of the reasons is that my favourite GNSs for me are the ones where they really stick two fingers up to the establishment, which is something they do incredibly well. To the point where Arthur Sullivan was not awarded a knighthood. No, not Arthur Sullivan. I'm getting confused. How much have I had to drink? Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Not one of the best ones, but it's still a good one. It's still a much-loved one, and I certainly enjoyed it. So, what Charles Court have done in redressing it as a Hammer horror, works marvellously. What it does, it kind of adds this layer of rather ridiculous melodrama on top of the melodrama that's already there, and it really complements it. It doesn't take away. It doesn't feel like a needless novelty, and it looks great. And this kind of moves me on to sort of what the Charles Court Opera have done with sort of set and staging. Very little is done. I mean, throughout almost the entire production, there's just people singing on the front of the stage. There's a seat. There's some lights, a nice sort of string of lights, sort of like this is Cornwall, this is the seaside, and that's there. But everything they do, it's all about the action. It's all about the singing. It's all about the choreography. The Charles Court Opera do not need a complicated stage to do excellent Gilbert Sullivan with, and the same as here. However, what is there in the set and the staging that is unexpected, and I don't want to give it away because I won't say anything more than that. But what they do with it, it works fantastically. And it comes out almost out of the blue, and you think, yes, this is marvellous. This is inspired in that they thought to do this, and they thought to approach their production with this joke, as it were, and it works fine. They're just really great. I know I've said a lot about. I'm a huge fan of. I think John Savinin, who's the director, and also plays the, can't remember his name all of a sudden, Sir Despard in the production. I've always said that he's one of my favourite comic performers, and everything that he does so wonderfully in his pantos and the other GNS I've seen him do is here again. He can make the room roar of laughter with as much as a well-timed facial expression. However, what I will say for this production, as brilliant as John Savinin's comic ability is, the entire cast have met him for this. The entire cast have wonderful comic timing, and they deliver GNS like GNS should be delivered. The fact that this is basically opera panto is one of the ways I've always tried to describe it to people. It's quite knowing. It's kind of over the top, a bit larger than life, a bit hammy. They've been hamming up the Hammer horror. I've already tweeted about it. I don't know why I'm saying that again. But yeah, they're all absolutely brilliant. Even right down to the bridesmaids as well, which are sort of very sort of, I suppose, small parts as they were, but they're excellently delivered. Everyone in the production is fantastic. I can't even really pick out. Well, I could pick them all out as Marvel. I mean, Matthew Keller as Robin Oakapple. I mean, again, he's involved in a lot of Child's Court stuff. I love his work with them as well. But everyone's just marvellous. This is a great production. It's a lot of fun. I think GNS fans should absolutely be all over this. It's a great version of GNS, and what I said as well when I came out the theatre on Twitter as well, that this isn't GNS's best work. That's my opinion. I know people might have a particular soft spot for Ruddigore. I don't think it's their best work, but at the same time, this is Child's Court at their best. They're imaginative, they're fun, and they are incredibly talented as operetta singers and as comic performers. I couldn't ask for more, especially on Chinese New Year, Gung Hei Fat Choi, and also happy birthday. Thank you guys for another marvellous night, and I look forward to writing up the full review. So, brilliant. Rah.